Hello, welcome back. Good evening. It's a big day today, so we're going to talk all about it. We had the interest rate decision from the Fed, not just for the United States, but also for Canada, and also Japan, I think. Oh boy. Here we go. Unprepared. I know. Where's Japan? I cannot English. Japan. Okay. And you know what? We might as well just click on Canada to talk about the interest rate decisions. I think. Yes. No. Yes. Bank of Japan interest rate decision. It's happening as we speak. That is crazy. We're expecting nothing to change either way with the Japanese yen. That's crazy. It's literally happening right now. Bank of Canada happened at 9:45 a.m. We dropped our rates by 0.25 or 25 basis points rather. So we have a low interest rate at 2.25%, which that's because the economy is bad. There's no real way to put it. They're trying to think like, the politicians, they're like, oh, this is a good thing, lower rates. And yeah, it is. It is a good thing, but you're trying too hard in my opinion. The United States has a high interest rate and they're pretty stable, and they still decided to cut rates today. We'll be discussing all of that in our news section. We also have Donald Trump. What is this guy doing in South Korea? He is meeting with Xi Jinping. As we speak right now, they are in a meeting. So the time zone thing that I talked about yesterday is happening right now because they're like a full day ahead of us, or half a day rather. So, yep, they met. Like, there's confirmation. They're both present there, shook hands and everything, and are already in discussion in a meeting. I'll be looking at some live updates as we go through that, which by the time we approach the end of the stream, we should have a good chunk of information by then. So, yep, excited for that. And some more updates on Solana. Some updates on Near Protocol. I don't talk about them much, but there's newsworthy stuff to discuss. And that's all I could really think of off the top of my head. Canada remains irrelevant in all of this. All right, perfect. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I entered Bitcoin. I entered some positions here. My first entry on it, I think, yeah, there was 2 entries. It's telling me it was in total an average price over here, but that's just not the case. Let me just zoom in a little more into the 15-minute chart. My first entry was at 111,171, which I purchased just on market price because I saw price was kind of coming down. I know it says oversold over here but we're on the 15-minute chart, so I don't really base my entries off the 15-minute chart. I base them off the 4-hour chart because I feel like it's more stable, more likely to react the way we expect it to. I'm not going to delete this Fibonacci yet. Just to explain that I did put another trigger order right over here because this half level 0.5 of Fibonacci retracement, it fit exactly where the super trend is. So I decided to put another order right there, and essentially both orders, getting filled, averages out my entry now to 110,582. Currently slightly in the green. Current price of Bitcoin is 110,726.22 and rising. I hope. Let's hope that this is bottom. And if it isn't, we continue dropping and it will be at 108,000. Our next support levels, which I do have another order there ready for Bitcoin because I want to load up as much as possible. I'm not shying away from this and putting my money where my mouth is here. We deserve to be much higher, and people are just scaredy cats. So we take advantage of that. That's what I'm doing here. Ideally, we continue our uptrend. We did kind of poke below it right over here. We wicked down to a low today of 109,280, and we didn't close below that, right? On 2-3 occasions now. It's getting weaker, which is a little concerning. We're at a critical area right now for Bitcoin. And we can continue lower, basing off the RSI where we are at right now. It can continue lower before we are considered oversold, and then we could truly see a bounce Where I expect that to happen would be at 108,000. I put my trigger order at 634 because it averages out between the next Fibonacci line that was around 108,200, I think. I have to pull this up again. I don't want to. Here it is, 108,400. Can I redo? Yes, excellent. All right, so here we are. That's where I have my order perfectly set up, in my opinion. Downtrend is gone. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. We don't got to worry about a downtrend on Bitcoin anymore. Ignoring the October 10 crash, the uptrends that we are to be paying attention to would be the bottom from October 17 to our local bottom today. And that's something that we should expect to see continue, hopefully. And if not, then this uptrend, of course, will be broken. We will obviously close below whatever the 110,000 level is, right? If we lose 110 as a support, we'll be heading to 108, mid 108,000s. So that's where I have my next order. And then lower than that, I don't see Bitcoin's price doing anything crazy, but I still have a trigger order here at 104. I don't know specifically why. I think it was basing off of these 3 levels or 2 levels over here. This is from a fib extension and the previous super trend level that it was at. I averaged those 2 out to get this level, but I think I'm going to go back on it and maybe average it out to a little lower. Just micro adjusting. It is generally going to be around the 104,000 level that I will be buying. So I'll be on the lookout for that. I don't think, like I said, we will drop that low. It's not likely. I mean, it all really depends. Markets are feeling a bit uncertain because of some of Powell's comments about the future. He didn't give us the hopium we wanted. Although he did confirm a few things. Like I said, we'll be discussing everything that Jerome Powell mentioned in the meeting as well today. And, I mean, currently what is going on right now in South Korea between Trump and Xi Jinping. Will they 100% confirm a deal? And if they do, I think we're going to moon from there. We'll wait and see. Like I said, they're currently talking, so we'll be giving live updates and see how Bitcoin's price reacts at this hour of the night. Crazy, huh? So, like I said, ideally, like this is the scenario that just plays out. We continue back on the rise toward 116,000 where this resistance is. We got 2 more days in the week to do that. Wait, today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. So yeah, we got plenty of time. There's no issue with, approaching a weekend of low volatility. Although, it's kind of been proven in these cases that sometimes we'll get a Sunday pump, which opens a CME gap, which confirmed, we have now closed that CME gap, right? Not confirmed. Let me confirm it right now. Does it really matter? We closed another, this is from way long ago. That's crazy. So we did close this one from a very long time ago. Let me just get rid of these lines over here. I don't like this blue stuff. Bless me. How do I get rid of this? Yeah, electronic trading hours. Like, reduce that. Yes. The shade is just way too intense. There we go. I like more of a darker background when it comes to this stuff. So the CME gap that opened was from, let me see. As soon as this closed, this would be on Friday, right? 110,000 to 990, and then we opened at 113,495. Yeah, the gap is filled, right? With the drop that we just had today, right? This drop over here, 29th of October. Thanks, Jerome. So, moving on from there. You could argue, I think we have a CME gap over here, but that's already been filled as well by this wick. So, I don't think we have any more CME gaps. We probably have some historical ones. I mean, people even say we have one at $3,000 for Bitcoin. Call me crazy, but I don't think we're dropping to 3,000 ever again. So, yeah. All right. Let's not spoil that. Moving on. So that's my projection for Bitcoin. It's just a bounce from here on upwards. And if it's not from here, it's going to be from 108, guaranteed, right? Not guaranteed. I'm not a financial advisor and I don't know the future. It's either that scenario or it's just this scenario. One of the two. Pick your poison. But we are not going lower. We can't. There's no real reason why we should go lower. Can you give me a reason? I'll gladly hear you out. I mean, China trade deal does not work out. Sure, you're allowed to go down, but that's why I have 104,000 prepared in that case. All right, so we'll see how things play out. We're going into overnight session, so yep. Did anything else get purchased? I purchased Compound. Did Solana get purchased? Let's go ahead and analyze Solana here. I think it did. Yeah, it did. So we reinforced my position that I had at 191. That was my old entry, 191 on Solana. I put another order there, which it got filled. So now I've doubled down on my entry. I still think 191 is a good entry. Could be better, of course. And that's why I have another limit order down there at 185. Might change it. To where? Good question. I don't like these levels if I want to draw Fibonacci from this. Obviously ignoring October 10. If you would draw Fibonacci, oh, that's not it. It's gonna have to be from this level because we didn't really break the 211, right? 192 gets confirmed as an important support. I think I could average out these two at 186. I'm liking that one better. So I'm going to modify this order, actually. How much money do we have? It was $1,000. Okay. No big deal. What we'll do is 187, 356, 186, 136 divided by 2. And there's your entry. 186, 74, 6. All right. And this should make us the big bucks, hopefully. All right. Ethereum, kind of doing the thing that I also explained, just oscillating around, you know, going above, going below the 4,000. We're going to be glued around that area for a while is what I predicted. We did actually wick a little lower to 3,837. We were just shy of my order that I had over here at 3,794. Did I put this one today? I might have. I don't remember if I covered this one live, but I think I just put this at the support level, which, yeah, unfortunately did not get hit, but we weren't really oversold either. So if we do become oversold, that level will get hit, 3,794, sub 3,800, right? Good area for entry, in my opinion, on Ethereum. Ironic, I don't like Ethereum at all. Why am I entering? But hey, I was lucky enough to, you know, snipe the bottom, snipe the top. That's how we do the trades, right? There's no real right or wrong answer when it comes to what's the best price. You just got to kind of guess. Not really guess, but like use probability toward your advantage. Where can you see price bouncing? What levels are coinciding? If you have like two indicators that will, you know, give you reason, one to give you the general area, the other one to confirm that general area of where you can see like a bounce or something. That's kind of what I use to basically determine my entries. So yeah, 3,944, the current price of Ethereum, down 1.24%. Moving on. Hyperliquid, $48.51. Wow, we are playing this to the T here. We did not break the $50. It is an important resistance. We hit a high today of $49.84. So we were very close. 16 cents off. Current price is $48.54. And like I said, I think we're going to be stuck in here for a while. We're going to need a really good catalyst for Hyperliquid to continue higher. But we've been overbought for a while. We've ranged in this area for a while. So that kind of, what do you call it? It invalidates this area being like a top, right? The more that we attack this resistance, the likelier we are able to break out of it. So that could happen soon. Your first resistance that you're going to be met with is at 52.43, but, and then after that 57, I like that. And then 60, of course. This is basically your all-time high on Hyperliquid. It's 59 something, 59.47. So it's likely for Hyperliquid, especially, you know, the fact that I'm expecting us to start rallying soon. This month is coming to an end. I'm expecting a cycle top in November for Bitcoin's case. Alt season can follow and it might even carry on until December. I'm not too sure. Sentiment changes really fast, so we could immediately just you know, everything can all happen in 1 month. But just in case it doesn't, I'm going to allow the possibility of like early December, right? Where we can see a top for altcoins or stuff like that. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm more inclined to believe everything is going to happen in November. But then how likely is that? It could happen. A lot can happen in a month. So we'll see. Especially if Bitcoin goes crazy. So yeah. All right. Those are my thoughts. BitTensor. On the rise today, 5% up. Its first halving event approaches. There's more halving events also coming up soon, so that's good for BitTensor, right? It makes it more difficult to obtain BitTensor Tau tokens by mining them, and yeah, it's basically got Bitcoin tokenomics, which is interesting. I know other projects do as well. I think Zcash does, and some other irrelevant coins that I don't remember. 21 million max supply kind of deal. Yep, so good for BitTensor. Well, we hit a high today of 455, which is a resistance level. 457 is where that resistance is. So that's twice now that we've approached this area. The current price is 445. Your support is 411. Entries on it, it's really hard to tell at this time. It's just been too strong that it hasn't shown any entries or possibility of an entry. No real weakness being displayed on BitTensor, so cannot find an entry. My 300 limit order is still down there, so if that ever hits, good. I removed my entry, luckily, on Plasma. Seems like we are still on the way down. I don't know. We haven't really been oversold yet, although we've been really close. We hit 31 RSI, which is close. Below 30 RSI, that's possible entry. How low can we go? I don't know. This is uncharted territory, ignoring October 10th, meaning we would have to rely on pivot levels, which is showing 29.31 as the support. 29 cents, right? I could probably do 30 cents, psychologically speaking. 30 cents and more, right? I don't know what else to base off the entry, though. We're going to have to wait and see. But for now, I don't plan on entering Plasma. It's basically, this is an all-time low for it. If you are risky about it, then sure, go for it. I still think it's okay project. Zero fee USDT transfers, but I don't know if anybody's really talking about the problem that we're getting too many stable coins. Wouldn't you agree? We're getting a Western Union stablecoin. We had the PayPal stablecoin, which can mint $300 trillion to solve the world's problems and solve the global debt. But that's never going to happen. They burned that immediately after, 20 minutes after saying, oopsie daisy. We accidentally just made money out of thin air. So there's that issue. We have Tether's, what was it called? USAT or something? Or I forget what it was. And yeah, whatever. Their new stablecoin, we already know USD Tether, right? We're literally looking at it right now, USDT. But there is another one that's coming out that will be allowed more regulator friendly, right? A competitor to Circle's USDC, another one that I do use as well. We have that DAI stablecoin. We have the TrueFi stablecoins. I mean, TrueFi is fine because I think they're genuinely using like other Forex currencies, right? It's not just US dollar, it's other currencies that are tokenized. So that's a decent move. But for American stablecoins, we have too many. USD1 from World Liberty Finance, Trump. Yeah, I can't think of more off the top of my head, but there's a lot. There's too many. Why can't there just be one coin? I'm sounding a lot like the Antichrist, aren't I? Anyway, so yeah, for now, I'll stay out of Plasma. I've taken small profits. I've lost money here too, I think. Have I? Oh my gosh. I probably have lost money. It just doesn't show. Yeah, so uncharted territory. Like I said, we can go lower. I don't know how low. I'm not going to risk. Basically, this is all guesswork at this point where the bottom is going to be. Just basing it off of support levels from pivot, and psychologically speaking, I'd look at 30 cents for plasma. That's it. Maybe we do bounce. Maybe that is the bottom, but I don't know. I'd rather stay out of it for now. SUI still in its downtrend, maintaining this one pretty well. It's not good that it's in a downtrend, but whatever. This just got purchased. I didn't even realize. Today, noon, we wicked down to 240, and we have since come back up to 252 on SUI. So my entry got filled at 244. I was 4 cents off. Whatever. It's still good enough. I like that. I was expecting today to be a volatile day, so having all those orders set up yesterday in last night's stream kind of benefited me here, so that's good. We're in SUI. There we go. How much did I put? Probably nothing, right? Oh, I did put quite a bit. Oh, this isn't this dropped my average price. It should have, right? I don't know from where it purchased. I actually purchased at 242. Wait. 240 is where we dropped. Whatever I did, it dropped my average price to 244. So my actual entry was 242, which is, yeah, it's basically where the support level from pivot was. It's a good entry. That's a good entry. We're still in the green. That's all that matters. Who knows for how long, though. Should I talk about resistance? It's still at 270 for SUI. Current resistance that we have right now, you know, to try to break out of this downtrend line that we have drawn, it's basically at 255, which we're really close to. We have kind of poked above it a little, and we have been above that before. So it shouldn't be a big deal to break above the 255 level. Then we will have to test the 270, I feel like. But the support is still at the 240, where we just dropped to. 240, 242, that's where I had my entry, so fill to that. Good. All right, yeah, moving on. Light chain link, okay, up 2.36%. Keeping the uptrend intact. We didn't drop as low as I would have expected it to. I had an entry at 16.95. That's where my limit order was. My entry is at 17. So trying to drop it to 17, reinforce the position, get more exposition. But I'm not sure. It's not likely we just suddenly drop all the way down here. It could happen, of course, and if it does, we'll still be in an uptrend. So that's what my logic behind this. But what's the reason? That's kind of what I'm here thinking about. Resistances for Chainlink would be at 19, where we topped out recently, a local top, and then support level, resistance level from pivots, it's at 1943, and then 2053. So we got a long way to go for Chainlink. Can the government shutdown please end? That would be great as well. Aptos, no orders got filled. I took a profit up here, buying down there, so look at that. Anybody that looks at this will be like, oh my gosh, how am I an expert? I'm not, but whatever. 341 is the current price for Aptos. We're kind of stuck here. It's no big volatility. I still have my limit ordered at 319. Why 319? Must have been from Fibonacci. Yep, so no big changes on Aptos. That's going to stay there. Big plays on Bitcoin, though. That's where I got a lot in. And World Liberty Finance, what are we doing here? I could have exited the position. Yeah, I just wasn't paying attention today, it seems like. And this happened really early in the morning. Not early in the morning, but morning time. For me, it's early because I like to sleep in. I'm not a morning guy at all. So, yeah, missed that. Okay, that's the way up for technical analysis. Let's move on to the news. There we go. So Trump arrived in South Korea. Really, I didn't have a better post on this? I guess not. Trump arrived to South Korea. They gave him a golden crown because they were hearing about the no kings stupidity. Here come the liberal meltdowns. Yeah, funny. President Trump and Xi Jinping officially meet in person for the first time in Trump's second term. Since 6 years ago, I think, the last time they met. So there you go. They're shaking hands firmly for the photos. That's funny. So cool. Good to see that they're there. And if you're not aware as well, Mark Carney from Canada, the Canadian Prime Minister, he's also down there, but Trump, just to clarify, he's like, by the way, guys, we didn't come to South Korea to see Canada, after he learned that Mark Carney was invited to attend a dinner with him, hosted by the South Korean president, Lee Jae-myung. Wow, what a name. And he confirmed it over here. For those asking, we didn't come to South Korea to see Canada. Meaning that he still hates Canada, especially because of that Reagan ad. He's not forgiving them for that, and he's keeping those tariffs intact. The 10% additional tariffs that got announced. Awesome. We're just doing wonders up here. Okay, let's check if there's any live updates. What is this one? No, we'll talk about this later. Here we go. How low do we go? 6 hours ago. There he is receiving the crown, right? Here he is entering the place. That was in Japan. The one below that. Trump brings home more billion-dollar deals during state visits to the Republic of Korea. There was like trade deals announced with Japan and stuff like that. I think I have a post talking about that, which we'll get into later. Mamdani, there's like this very loud talks going on about who's going to be the next mayor of New York City. That's like between Cuomo and Mamdani. From what I hear is that this guy's a socialist, and I don't know. The other Cuomo, I don't know too much about either of them, to be honest, so whatever. Who cares about former FBI agents? South Korea has agreed to pay the USA $350 billion for a lowering of the tariffs charged against them by the United States. Oh, South Korea had tariffs on them. Additionally, they have agreed to buy our oil and gas in vast quantities, and investments into our country by wealthy South Korean companies and businessmen will exceed $600 billion. That's the amount of money he's bringing. This is almost $1 trillion. 600 plus 350 billion. Our military alliance is stronger than ever before, and based on that, I have given them approval to build a nuclear-powered submarine, rather than the old-fashioned, far less nimble, diesel-powered submarines that they have now. Great trip with a great prime minister. Not talking about Mark Carney, he's talking about South Korea. We very much look forward to our meeting with President Xi of China. It will take place in a few hours. He said that 6 hours ago, and, well, now that it is taking place. Who cares about that? This was interesting. We just won the war on the climate change hoax. Bill Gates has finally admitted that he was completely wrong on the issue. Wow. It took courage to do so, and for that we are grateful. MAGA. So there you go. Climate change, big lie, apparently, according to Bill Gates himself. I just read this, didn't I? Okay, well, thanks for the repost. We know that they'll be doing nuclear-powered submarines. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. Russia is second, and China is a distant third, but we'll be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Okay, so he's trying to, like, one-up the competitors is what it seems like. All right. G2 will be convening shortly, so that's the meeting between a lot of leaders. Trump arrives at the meeting with Xi Jinping in China. They shake hands with very tough Xi to start historic talks. She commends Trump on the peace deals. He says, "Good job. You care a lot about world peace. I appreciate your contribution to the recent conclusion of the Gaza ceasefire agreement." Is that still in effect? I think it is. I hope it is. Let me refresh to see if there's anything more. Didn't I just refresh? I think I already did. Yeah, well, nothing much else came of it, is what it seems. Where is Trump? Yep. Man, I'm sneezing like crazy today. Okay. China's president stuns the world by thanking Trump for promoting peace. Very enthusiastic about settling regional hotspot issues. Okay, seems like that was it. Yeah. They only said one word. Hey, thanks for or one sentence rather. Thanks for caring about the world peace. Good job. All right, that's it. Anyways, apparently Trump will also be speaking with China's president regarding NVIDIA's Blackwell chip. Here we go again with NVIDIA. A lot to talk about NVIDIA because they're just doing so much and there's a lot going on with NVIDIA. Trump also says that Jensen Huang, which is the CEO of NVIDIA, presented him with a Blackwell chip in the Oval Office. So we got first-hand look at all that. NVIDIA stock is surging overnight on trading on the news. It's still going up as we speak, and it finally has become the first company in history to be worth $5 trillion. Which is crazy. Let me fact check. Yep, 5 trillion. Okay. Congratulations, NVIDIA. I didn't even know Microsoft is already up to 4 trillion. That is crazy. Weren't they just 2 trillion? And same with Apple and Alphabet. Like, Bitcoin was flipping over Amazon. Okay, yeah, that's still the case, usually. They're about 2 trillion, Bitcoin's market cap and Amazon's market cap. Okay. But hey, NVIDIA is just leading the way. 1 whole trillion above Microsoft. Nobody can beat gold, though. Hey, guys, the money is there. Like, this kind of money can just go into Bitcoin and moon everything, right? To give you guys a perspective on what $5 trillion is, NVIDIA is now worth more than 2 Canadas. I covered before that it was worth more than Canada, which was funny, but now it's 2 of them. 166 Icelands. I think Iceland is an irrelevant country. A Germany and a half. All US regional banks combined. That's an important one. It's worth more than the world's billionaires 3 times over. That's crazy. The entire NFL 35 times. NVIDIA is worth every pizza sold. Okay, NVIDIA is now worth more than every pizza sold in history, every item on Amazon, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, NASA, SpaceX, Boeing, Toyota, Sony, Nintendo, Europe's 4 biggest banks, every oil company on Earth. NVIDIA is worth more than all that. All of global gold reserves combined. Okay, yeah, gold reserves, sure. Not gold itself, because gold itself is 27 trillion. All of Los Angeles real estate, Manhattan real estate market, the whole crypto market, yeah, that's true. The crypto market is 3-4 trillion, and we could confirm how much the crypto market cap is. 3.85 trillion, and NVIDIA is 5. So, and also all 54 African countries combined. NVIDIA is worth more than a whole continent. Wow. They should just buy out Africa and I don't know, what would they do with Africa? I don't even know. No, I'm going to get into that. So I'm not going to give them any ideas. NVIDIA also made a lot of announcements. They have even more partnerships. I've been talking about the partnerships that they've been making throughout the past couple of days, but it just keeps on going. Eli Lilly partnership, Palantir partnership, Hyundai partnership, Samsung partnership, $1 billion investment in Nokia, which we talked about, an Uber partnership to build 100,000 robotaxi fleet. Wow, so rip Uber drivers. $500 billion in expected revenue over through 2026. I think that's a big number, man. They're just expecting more and more. How much more can this company grow? Anyway, new system connecting quantum computers to its AI chips. We're hearing a lot more about that. Partnership with the Department of Energy to build 7 new supercomputers, which we did also touch on. So, yep. Good for them, I guess. All right, Federal Reserve time. FOMC meeting. It happened. We had a 25 basis point rate cut as expected. No surprises there. The reason market reacted the way it reacted was because of what Jerome Powell said. First of all, the good news. The Federal Reserve announced it will halt balance sheet reduction on December 1st, which basically means the end of quantitative tightening, which basically means the money printer goes turned on, right? Starts December 1st. Maybe we do rally up until December. Who knows? As expected, the Fed cut the rate by 25 basis points. The quantitative tightening will stop by December 1st. We should start pumping by now, in my opinion, but oh well. Canada also had their interest rate reduced. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Where does we hear? Things that Powell talked about. There's different views about how to proceed at December's meeting, because that's the next one. That's what we're all speculating here. What's going to happen in the next meeting? I want to see if the percentages have been affected at all. Last time I checked, it was in the 90s. I'm pretty sure 80s or 90s that we'll be getting a rate cut for December. I know we barely just talked about this one, and now we're already moving on to December here. But for December, the odds have clearly been reduced for another 25 basis point rate cut, down to 68.6%. And to 31% that we do not get the rate cut. So, give or take 1/3 of a chance we will not see a rate cut in December, and that is why markets are kind of, dropping because of this. Some more comments that Powell said. Another cut in December is far from assured, is what he assured us, that it's not guaranteed, the rate cut in December, so don't price it in. There were strongly differing views today, talking amongst his Fed governors, right? What the next move is going to be, what they expect to do. Today's cut was purely risk management. Going forward, it's going to be a different thing, right? The risk management, of course, being that the government shutdown is in effect. We're not getting economic data, labor market shortage. We got to do something. We can't just leave it there because we don't want any surprises, bad surprises, right? Says, I don't think we'll have a very granular understanding of economy while the shutdown is on. Yeah, just what I explained. Could imagine that lack of data affects December decision. Okay. Fed rate is now in range of many estimates of neutral. Some people on the committee feel it is time to take a step back. That's not good. That's not what we want to hear. So, not a good tone from Powell today, and it explains the drop that we see on Bitcoin. On financial stability, Powell said that we don't look at one asset price and say, hey, that's wrong. We look at the overall financial system and if it can sustain shocks. Some households under stress, but banks are well capitalized. There's not too much leverage in banking and the financial system. It's a mixed picture, not overly troubling. So, reassuring that there's nothing terrible that we were expecting, but just being cautious, especially considering how things are right now. Talked about AI here. AI is a source of growth, but consumer spending as well, defying forecasts. What? Consumer spending is bigger than AI investment. Okay. Overall, it's a good economic picture, is what he said. I want both. I'll vote later. Who cares? Yep, that's all. Moving on. CZ, and little news from him. He's going to be filing a defamation lawsuit against crypto U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren if she does not retract her false statements. Do it. I will pay for your thing. And this is a funny meme where CZ kicks Elizabeth Warren. It's not real, and it's not actually them. It's literally just a Chinese man kicking an older woman that happens to look like CZ, and the woman happens to look like Elizabeth Warren. So that's pretty funny. I'm not saying that violence is funny, but it's pretty funny. Fidelity files an updated S1 for its Solana ETF. So Fidelity wants a bit of the sauce there. And they updated what their filing was to remove the delaying factor to kind of speed up the process of getting their ETF approved for their Solana one, right? Which means, yes, we are expecting more Solana ETFs. Good. We want Fidelity in the picture as well because I don't think they sell off as much, right? That's not what I'm looking for. Where is he? Want to see if we have any updates on this chart. Please load. Thank you. Here we have Bitwise and Grayscale. So there you go. Grayscale is starting off with $102 million. So it seems like they don't have too much to sell off. Yesterday they actually had, well, they weren't live, I think, yesterday. But today they published numbers. $1 million inflow. That's not a lot, but hey, at least they're not selling off. So that's a good thing. And they don't have too much to sell off either, right? Only 102 million. What's the asterisk about? It shows an asterisk, but it doesn't even explain what the asterisk does. Oh, here it is. G-Soul Seed is a conversion from a prior product. Either way, it's worth 102 million. They can only sell that much, and 102 million sold off on Solana. It's not going to be a big difference, right? Bitwise is on the right track, inflowing 69 million and 46 million, a total of 116 million so far in the past 2 days, today and yesterday. So that's good. They're on the right track. It's looking like Solana ETFs will be healthy overall. My fear was that we were going to see what happened with Bitcoin, right? Where Grayscale was a huge seller when it came to all that. Okay. I wanted to see what the seed of it was. It was a lot, I remember. But whatever. Okay. The Western Union partnership. There's some fact checkers coming out, specifically from the XRP army trying to defend XRP after being humiliated by this partnership between Western Union and Solana. The fact that Western Union will be releasing a stablecoin with using Solana's blockchain. People were like, well, then what's the purpose of XRP? It has no more use anymore. What they were created to do, their intended creation, is not being fulfilled. So what can we do with this Ripple product? Well, people are, like I said, coming out to defend Ripple a little bit by attacking Solana, saying that the Western Union Solana deal was not free. Solana wrote a $25 million check with $25 million in liquidity stimulus for only 6 months exclusivity on the Western Union digital asset, meaning that it's limited and there was money involved, is what they're claiming. That's their only claim. It's nothing too deal breaking in my opinion. Like, I still think it's going to be a good partnership, but we'll see. Near Protocol. Some news on this. There's a company called OceanPal who will raise $120 million to launch a Near token treasury company, which plans to acquire up to 10% of Near's token supply. That'll be interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not a big fan of not just Near, but like AI tokens. Like it's ironic. I'm investing in BitTensor, which does have to do with AI, but specifically like Near Protocol, I feel like there's just better options to it. I want to check what the AI sector is looking like. I think we could check on the categories here, right? Well, maybe not here. Categories, AI, big data. What do we got? So BitTensor's not number one, but like first on this list, right? And I've studied it. It has a max supply, so I feel like it's worth it. And then you have Near in second place. Near is a good project overall. There was like competition between Near and Render that had to do with AI. I don't even know. I haven't researched them too much, but holding 10% stake from this company, it's going to take a while, but eventually they can. 10% would just mean 100 million? Wait, is that real? 120 million? Am I doing my math right? I think so. No, this is the tokens. And how much is each token? 227. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Okay. It's market cap, I guess. If we're holding 10% of the market cap, just reduce the decimal. So that is $200 million. Almost $300 million. That's possible. Yeah. So they're already a third of the way there is what it seems like. Okay, so that's not a bad it's not a bad move. All right, we'll see how that plays out for them. Cool. I'm probably doing my math wrong, aren't I? I think it's right. Who cares? Fact check me in the comments if you care. Near having. Near having. Do they have having events? Okay, we're talking about Bitcoin. Come on, near protocol. All right. Near inflation halving voting starts. In October 2025, the Near Protocol initiated a governance vote for a tokenomics upgrade that would effectively halve its token inflation rate from 5% to 2.5%. Yeah, that is basically what a halving is. Okay, sure. It's not necessarily a halving. It is the same fixed programmatic sense as Bitcoin's. The difference between Bitcoin and like Bitcoin halving or BitTensor's halving versus Near Protocol's halving. I guess I'll relate it to BitTensor because they're also in the AI sector. The difference is that BitTensor has a max supply. Near Protocol does not. And this is like an inflationary number that will just continue on forever, right? It is dropping from 5% to 2.5%. The vote it has to pass, though. I don't know when the voting has to be approved by. Late October. And we need an 80% to pass the vote. Is that what I'm reading here? The forced implementation drew backlash from some validators who accused Near Foundation of overriding the decentralized governance process. Interesting. All right, well, I'd rather not take part of that drama. And apparently Zcash also had a halving event. Halving countdown. Okay, come on. You can't just tell me when it's happening. 2 years. Okay, brother. Happens every 4 years. What? So 2028. Am I reading this right? What do you mean Zcash halved? No, Zcash halving is not happening this November. Okay, maybe this is misinformation. I have no idea what is happening. I don't follow Zcash too closely. I'm clicking on random websites here. It's telling us 20 days when Zcash block rewards will be cut in half. It has a max supply too, right? I think it also has 21 million. Zec. It does have 21 million max supply as well. That's why people compare this to Bitcoin as well, just because of the max supply being 21 million, but a lot of projects do that. Did we have a halving on this? I'm not seeing anything about a halving here. Do we see... no, we don't see any tokenomics. Alright, cool. So that will just be up in the air forever. Latest news, just tell me something having. Yeah, there's nothing talking about having. So misinformation confirmed. Thanks, Near Protocol. Might block. Meta stock. Oh, we had earnings and everything today. Meta stock dropped nearly 10% after missing its earnings. Rest in peace, Mark Zuckerberg. Due to a $15.9 billion one-time expense. On what? What was the expense exactly? Non-cash tax charge for future income taxes. Non-cash tax charge. Are you trying to like defer your taxes here? What is this? What does this mean? It made them miss their earnings per share, so that's why they dropped. Okay, was this $15 billion worth this drop in your market cap? I don't know how much this would have affected the market cap. If it was more than 15 billion, that was an L from Meta's part. But we also had other companies getting their earnings this week. Especially like today was a big day for Meta, Microsoft, and Alphabet. So Google. And we talked about Meta, Microsoft, Google. I'll have a look at Google and Microsoft because I do kind of care about them. Just to see how they performed. MSFT, I cannot type. Bad. I mean, good earnings, but it's dropping. I'm guessing we're expecting bad expectations in the future. Not enough growth in the future. That's probably why you'll see sometimes like earnings be green, but then the stock price just crashes either way. And Google was the other one. Google looks good. It's on the rise. Do I have Google? I do not. Do I have Microsoft? I do, and it's crashing. I have the Canadian version, so we're gonna see this tomorrow, and if this is my average price, I probably will not even buy here. I should have taken profit. I should have. I literally talked about Microsoft before. I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna take profit tomorrow morning, and I just didn't. Alright, whatever. Whatever. There'll always be opportunities. OpenAI. This is so ironic. I don't even know what to think anymore. They're preparing for an IPO at $1 trillion valuation, Reuters reports. That means company's market cap here. Get out. 1 trillion. They're going to be number 14, 15, right next to JP Morgan and Berkshire Hathaway in terms of the company's market cap list. Why is this blue? These are ETFs. Okay. I don't know, ETFs were measured in market caps. I guess I enabled all, right? Okay. So they're going to be up there if OpenAI does have an IPO. But I just talked about this news yesterday, and a spokesperson from OpenAI said that they have no plans of becoming public. They will remain private. And I even gave the example of like the tokenized version of OpenAI. So it's like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Are they actually going to go or not? And I don't have Grok to confirm none. Okay. Would it be good? Would it be good? I think it would be good if they go public. Like, just do it. What are you scared about? Anyway, all right. So that is all the news I had to cover for today. We bought Bitcoin. The price is at where our entry price is. It's either up or down from here. I know, big news flash, but my expectation for Bitcoin is to continue higher. I know we didn't get any confirmation from Jerome Powell that, yep, guaranteed yes or yes, we will see another 25 basis point rate cut in December. That's kind of what the markets wanted to hear, but they didn't. He said instead that, nope, nothing is confirmed, so we're just going to have to wait and see. Hopefully the government shutdown ends. Like I said, we would have a lot of ETFs approved by now, and we would have economic data to kind of help us with our predictions as to how things are performing in the economy and whether or not we deserve the rate cut. I think we still do. The projections are already in. It's all still positively inclined to that we could see rate cuts. I would believe that it would be the case. Imagine if we don't, though. Like, that would clearly be cycle top if we do extend up to that point. But yeah, we do need the government shutdown to end, please. So by tomorrow, I guess we'll cover if there is anything new that Trump says with Xi Jinping. What do I look up here? Why is Jing... How is he not the first thing that comes up when I type in XI? Yeah, no new updates as of 1 hour ago. So, yeah, basically when I started the stream. No new updates yet, but if anything else does come out, if they confirm or decline the deal, you'll hear it here last, not first, because I stream at 11 p.m. So we'll see you tomorrow at 11 p.m. And we'll cover all of that as well. Yeah, but this stuff with the Fed rate cuts, we're just relying on like the private sector, things like that. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Another thing I forgot to mention as well. I've been meaning to talk about this for 3 days, and I just keep forgetting. Our channel, my channel, hit 10 years anniversary on October 26th. To celebrate, we're gonna do absolutely nothing. So that's all. Just wanted to brag.